Okay, here we are this morning, and I'm going to give a brief introduction to creating a page in Kartra. So once you've logged on to Kartra, you see a lot of different options: My Products, My Communications, My Pages, My Forms. This is an incredibly complex system, but here are the pages, and you can see we're talking about natural affinity video samples and the natural affinity marketing homepage here. What I'm going to do here is start from creating a brand new page, and that will give you an idea of how this works. So under the page on the right hand side, um, so you can start from scratch. So there are all sorts of things here. You can choose pre-made templates, all sorts of squeeze pages, thank you pages, all these kinds of things. There really are endless amounts, and the thing is that you can start by picking one of these ones that you really like, and just building from there. So, but we're going to just start with a blank canvas. Start the builder, and call this a sample page. And this is a common thing in Kartra. It asks you for a category. So I'm just going to call it a natural affinity thing, and then select site. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay. Actually, not seen that question before. So here's the page builder, and it's kind of miraculous. So there's a thing here right at the beginning. There's a tutorial, and I don't really read the tutorial anymore. The problem is once you stop it, it is hard to get back or impossible to get back. And it doesn't hurt to review it. So every time you start, go through the tutorial, and there's a little thing, a description here. And what it's saying is a drag and drop system here. That's what this page says. And then there are a whole pile of settings, and the settings section here tells you where to look for this. That's where you set up your SEO stuff and cascading style stuff. All sorts of things. These are sort of global to the page. And then sections and components. That's a really good way of understanding this, is you build sections and then you put components within the sections. So here in landing pages and exit pages, this whole system is optimized for marketing. So there are lots of marketing related things that you can create. We're not going to worry about that today. And notification bar. So a lot of sophisticated marketing things you can do. And here's really, really powerful. So you can check your design on multiple devices. So you can see what it looks like: desktop, tablet, or phone. That's really quite useful. Right. And here is probably the most important thing to remember is the column mode and the component mode. It's very easy to change the styling and delete and move things, but you have to know what you're dealing with. The column is like the box that contains the stuff, and then the component is the stuff in the box. So if you get frustrated with not being able to select what you're looking for, it's probably because it's this option here is set to component or column, and you need to change that. So display page column structure, that you can toggle that on. It just is like revealing the lines a little bit more. Okay, and then there's a main menu. When you're finished, you can preview, you can save it. I recommend saving quite often, like save as a template, publish live, and return to dashboard. So I would say I use save quite often and then preview quite often, because it's can be fairly easy to lose your whole page. Anyway, and then because this is marketing oriented, if you're creating a sales page, you might want to set up your product or your opt-in. An opt-in is like opting into your newsletter mailing list. And yeah, Okay. So you can share things and use templates, create multiple pages. So you can create an entire website out of this. It's not quite as easy and automatic as WordPress, but it's pretty powerful. Okay, now we're all done this here. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, we've got this completely empty page here. So it's asking to drop a section. So there are all sorts of things here, and navigation menus, hero sections. That has a huge variety of things, and that's often the quickest way to get a really striking header for your page. Content also has a lot of different things, and it's a good place to get going. But anyway, for now, so really there are quite a few hundreds of options here. But right now, we're just going to create a simple page. So we're going to take an empty section and drop this block into here. Okay, and now it wants a column. So here it's under components and columns. And this is how you can determine your layout, whether you want it to take the entire screen, partial screen, whatever. So let's just do 100% here. And here it shows these little bars, and you need to put your arrow right so it turns green. So it gives you quite a few options for placement. Okay, so now we have, that's a blank page, blank column, and now we need to put something in it. So so under components, let's do two things. I'm going to do a text block and really just actually, okay, this is just a plain text. So that's as simple. And then you have it here, and one of these things is a little tab here. This is to move it. That's to clone it. This one is to edit the styles mostly. Let's see what it says. And really, okay, it doesn't really have much in the way of style, just positioning. But you can do a kind of a fancy effect here. Sort of fade in, zoom in, slide from left, slide from right, bounce, and flash, shake. You can flip it the other way. But we'll just keep it simple for now, and then when you're done, you press apply. So the little text gives you a text editor, and it's a fairly good HTML editor. Okay, and from there, you have the usual things: boldface, italics, underline, strike through. You can make lists. You can format it, put it in the center. You can create a link to something. You can choose a color. Choose the red, and then, whoops, I lost it. And you can choose a font. So it has a pretty impressive list of things. Most of these are Google fonts. Hammersmith. Let's try something completely different. And you can change the size. It doesn't seem to give you any customization, but you can choose something. Okay. I don't know. I'm not thrilled with that one. I've been using on the Rocket Norton site, I like using Laura, which is it's a serif font, but it's quite bold, easy to read on the screen for us with aging eyes. Anyway, so that's that's the text editor. Next thing you know, you want another component, and since you guys are interested in video, let's do the video. And so here it gives you a bunch of players, and I have to confess that I didn't really see the distinction very well before. I was wondering why there were so many identical looking players. But anyway, we're just gonna this is the player that I used in on your samples page here for the little micro ones. Okay, and again, it'll show you where you can put things. And maybe I didn't drop that right there. There we go. Okay. So it's a placeholder. We can close this, and again here you'll see as your mouse over something, these little control bars, little menu pops up. So here the it says edit style, which is maybe not what you're thinking, but anyway. So here we got if you can embed a Kartra video, a YouTube video, Wistia, or Vimeo. So let's just embed a native one. So I should have said before, when you're making all these little clips, that make them maybe 720p or something, so that they could be shown larger or smaller. So we'll choose this one here. I think most of these are sort of micro clips, so they don't really, you can't view full screen very well. But anyway, here I just apply. Seems redundant because I think by the time I select it, it's already there, but there we go. Oh, I should go back again and the controls. On yours, because those little ones were very small, I didn't want to have the full screen option because they don't look good on full screen if they're not high enough resolution. So, and you can, there are options to get it to autoplay and mute on start, and then you can select the skin. Let's see what that gives you. Mostly it just changes the style of the little play button. Okay. All right. Another feature of this is there's a section, right? This whole thing is a section, and that's where you can customize the section here with the edit. And a very powerful thing here is in the whole section, you can put an image or a video in the background. So I think Tammy wanted to put a video in the background, so this is where you do it. But in the image thing here, choose an image, and here, these are the images that I already have loaded up in my Kartra account. But the other thing here is it gives you access to stock imagery. So I'm going to just choose this one and select it and confirm. And you can adjust the transparency. So I can have it set to 50%. So you can fade it and do what you want with it. Okay. And then anyway, I'm quite happy with that. So that's getting to look quite good. So the next section here is really, I like to build different sections. So I'm going to do, let's say, content section, and choose like any of these things. Can be pretty interesting. Oh, this one's pretty dramatic. This little icon. Actually, I've changed my mind. I'm not that. I think this isn't what I want to do. So I'm just going to remove it. So you, on the right hand side, there's this little control and there's an X, and delete. So you want to delete it. So let's pick another section. And features. Let's see features here. Okay, there's a bunch of features page. This is the one you might have recognized. Okay, this is a variation of the one I put on your home page. Yeah. And again, you can select any of these elements and edit, and including the icon. And it has quite an impressive list of icons here. Put some music icon on there, fly, and you can change the color to anything you want. And there are some places where it allows you to select from a color palette, like a color, pre-made colors, and other places where you don't. So I get in the habit of copying and pasting the color. So if you apply it, there it shows up on the screen. And then you go to the next one, and you can apply that same color. Right. Okay. Anyway, so you get the idea. Pretty powerful stuff. So if it does a very good job of showing you what's here, but if you want to preview it, again, okay, here on the right, okay, you see what I did here. On the right hand side, there's this actions thing, and I would save the progress fairly frequently. You know, the undo works fairly well, but not always, and sometimes you lose the whole window. So if you want to preview the whole page, you hit the preview, open in preview, and there we go. We play the video.
Where do vitamin supplements come from? Here's a hint. They don't grow on trees.
And you can see here,
most multivitamins
this isn't the highest resolution video that it could be, so it suffers a little bit, so it looks a little pixelated.
But now Garden of Life introduces a whole new concept in multivitamin supplements.
Okay, and when you're done with your preview, you just simply close that window. There's no option, there's no go back or whatever. It's just loaded it up in a new page, and so you're ready to go, and you publish live. So here it gives you a link to the page, and you can customize this. So it defaulted to just my Kartra account, Greg Dixon, Kartra.com page, and then a random name. But you can change it here and select naturalAffinityMarketing.com and then sample. If I could spell sample, it'd be good. Okay. Anyway, so then when you save it, you can just copy and paste this link, and Bob's your uncle. So the other one here, the code here is, in theory, you can embed this into a page. And for a while there, I was using a thing called blank slate and just embedded into a page on WordPress. But Safari decided it didn't really want to play with this, and it works some of the time and not all the time. I think it works all the time on a phone and maybe not very much on a desktop. So it's just not a viable option, which is why I had you map the domain to my Kartra account here. And when you're done, in theory, you're done. It's all published live and it's saved. And then you can return to the dashboard. And I tell you, here this warning, it says, "Are you sure you wish to? All pending changes will be lost." It says this even though you've just saved everything and you're not going to lose anything. So you just have to go on blind faith and go back. And there we go. There's your page. And this little dot gives you an option. That takes you directly to the page link thing, and then you can edit it. You can also copy it. That's a really good thing, is you can clone it. You got something that you like, you just clone it, make some changes. This whole process can go very quickly, and then there's a delete. And I think that's all I'm going to show you for now, so I'm going to stop sharing here.